Hello, 8th graders. Um, Today we're going to talk about this week's assignments, and I'm going to give you two of them, and it's going to be new information. Last week, we just had the one assignment, and I was really hoping to get everyone logged into Manga High and getting used to doing the assignments on there. It was a little bit of a learning curve for some people, in that they didn't quite understand that you're supposed to do these more than once. There are only 10 problems in the assignment, but you don't stop after doing it once. You continually do it until you get like a gold medal to demonstrate that you actually understand the concepts. So same thing's happening this week. You're going to get two different assignments. And the first one's going to deal with the surface area of a cylinder. So let's jump right into there. When we're talking about a cylinder, and I've done this before, if you take a piece of paper, which is a rectangle, and you take and roll it up, it becomes a cylinder, right? If I unroll that cylinder, you notice that the length of my paper became the distance around the circle, which we call the circumference. And the width of it, if we say this is the length and here's your width, the length became the circumference of the circle, and the everything's backwards in my camera. The width of the rectangle became the height of the cylinder. So let's look at that on some flat drawings here. If I draw a rectangle and label the long distance here L for length and this shorter distance W for width, we hopefully remember that the area for a rectangle is just the length times the width. But if we were to curl this up, if I were to take this corner and curl it up so that it laid on top of this corner, then I'd make a cylinder, right? Where the length is now the distance around the cylinder, which we call the circumference. The circumference is how far it is to go around that circle on the base or the top of this. We'll call that C for circumference. And the width of my rectangle then would become the height of my cylinder. So when we look at what's called the curved surface area, CSA, the curved surface area, it's really just going to be not length times width, but instead circumference, which is what our L was before, our C times our H, which was our width before. So L is now C and W is now H. The curved surface area is just C times H. How do we find the C, the circumference? Well, circumference is pi times the diameter of the circle that you form. Okay? So the curved surface area is pi times the diameter times the height. That C times H, our circumference times our height. Pi d is our circumference, H is our height. Knowing that d is two radius lengths, we can also write that as 2 pi r h, because 2 times r is d. So 2 pi r h is the circumference or times the height. And we call that the curved surface area. One more thing we need to know is how to find the area of a circle. And the area for a circle is pi times the radius squared. Let's put all this together, because if I make a cylinder, it's really not usually hollow. That is, that it doesn't usually have just an open space at the top and bottom so you can look through it. Usually the cylinder has closed top and bottom, okay? In other words, you can have a circle that closes up the bottom and a circle that closes up the top. So we're going to have to calculate those areas as well. the complete surface area for a cylinder is then going to be equal to the curved surface area plus 2 areas of a circle on the top and the bottom. And so when we write that entire thing out, and it looks complex, but it's not, your entire formula is going to be 2 pi r h. That's our curved surface area that we looked at before, plus the 2 circles, 2 pi r squares. All right? All right. Let's look at some questions real quick to see what they look like on Manga High. All right, this one says, complete the work to show that the curved surface area of this cylinder is 527.8. Now, the curved surface area, as we've talked about before, is going to be 2 pi. That's our beginning. Remember, it was going to be 2 pi times the radius, which is 6, times the last thing, which was, that's right. When we come back out here, it was 2 pi times the radius times the height. So let's look at 2 pi times the radius times the height, and the height is 14. So I'm going to grab this, throw it in here. We'll put that in. When calculating the surface area of a cylinder, you need to calculate the area of the top of the cylinder. Again, that's the circle. What's the area of a circle? Area of a circle is pi r squared. Once again, a cylinder, if we unroll it, is just a rectangle. Or if I take a rectangle and I roll it up, I get a cylinder. Sarah says the circumference of the blue circle in A is the same as the length as a blue line in C. Would this, when I unroll it, be this? Yep, that's the whole idea. We're going to say true. Complete the work to find the radius of the circle using 3 as an approximation for pi. Notice they're not going to use 3.14 or the pi button. They're going to say 3 is used for pi. That's okay. We can use 3. In this case, it tells us the area is 27. So in the first box, I'm going to replace area with the number 27. Because it said the area is 27. So area 27. Here we've got 3 instead of pi times the radius squared. So the radius squared is what? Well, if 27 was equal to 3r squared, I'm going to show you what I'm working on here. If 27 was equal to 3r squared, I want to get r squared by itself, so I'll divide by 3 on both sides. 27 divided by 3 is 9, so 9 is my r squared, which means my r must have been, that's right, 3, since 3 squared is 9. So we'll go back to our problem, and we're going to grab a 3 and put it in here. And our r squared, of course, was 9, and put it in there. All right. Same thing going on here. CSA, curved surface area, is going to be 2 times pi times the radius times the height. So I'm going to put pi in the first box. 2 times pi, same thing there. Now they're replacing the radius with 6, and we should be replacing the height with what then? 10, you all say. Yes, correct. Let's put 10 there. And then if we plug all that into our calculator, 2, oops, got to turn my calculator on. 2 times, I'll use 3.14 for my pi, times 6 times 10. I'm just plugging in all the numbers that we see there, and I get 376 and some change. Oh, I didn't like it. They wanted me to round up. All right, so same thing here. Complete the work to find the curved surface area. 2 times pi times the radius times h. So 2 times pi times 7 was the radius times my h, right? So the first box, what goes here? Pi. Second box, what goes in for H? 12. Next box, got to use a calculator. 2 times 3.14. Let's see if we can get this one right. Times 7 times 12. This time I got 527.52, which I'm going to say is 528. Cool, we rounded right. The area of the circle is 12 squared, so I'm going to replace area with 12 squared, which is 1. Oh, I'm sorry. I replace it with 12. I'm not squaring 12. I'm doing that. All right, it's centimeters squared, not the number squared. So the area is 12. Told me that there. Pi is, they're using 3, right? And then they have an r squared. So what's my r squared? Well, in order to get r by itself, or r squared by itself, we should divide both sides by 3, which would make 12 divided by 3 equal to 4. The r squared is 4. It takes square root of both sides. What's square root of 4? Dose. Submit my answer. Let's see if we can get this one right. I guess we can go move up. Let's do this one more time. Using 3 as an approximation for pi, area is equal to, they put 3 in for pi. What's my area? 48. So we'll put that box in. Area is 48, said so. So how do we get r squared by itself? Yeah, hopefully you said you had to divide both sides by 3. So what's 48 divided by 3? It's 16. When I take 48 and divide by 3, it's 16. What's the square root of 16? 4, they all said in unison. Submit my answer. Boom! And we move on to the next level. All right, so that's how you do these for the most part. And then, like I said, you might have to, when you get to the hard levels and the extreme levels, this is the formula you're probably going to be using. That is to find the entire surface area, understanding that the curved surface area plus the area of the two circles is going to give you your complete surface area. All right, I'm going to let you go ahead and try some of those. This assignment is due on Wednesday. I'm sorry, it's due on Thursday, but I'm going to post a new assignment on Wednesday. So if you want to stay on track, try to get this assignment done Wednesday sometime. And I think I posted, I'll have to look. I think I've set it up so that you can access the next assignment starting Wednesday. If not, you'll have to wait until Thursday, but that second assignment will then be due on Friday. So you do have 2 assignments. Look for the second one coming up either on Wednesday or Thursday. Try to get this first one done on Wednesday. All right? Good luck, Mathmateers, and we'll talk to you soon.